Jenny. You got the cake? Yeah. You bring any for anyone else?
No, it's all fine.
We've discussed much of what we know, what we remember, and who we remember, and why we remember various things. So, and their names, if they weren't.
COVID, but if you haven't checked in, haven't scanned, find a COVID stand around here. There's one at the registration desk to make sure you check in so that we adhere to our COVID case plan. And obviously social distancing is required if we can take you. There's a first aid station. We've got morning tea, lunches, dinner, things supplied by the PNC. So first I want to say thank you very much to the PNC and to the Gindie school for indication on whether you're eating lunch and how many people in your family, and also dinner as well. So if you haven't, there was back at the registration desk was where you could mark that down, but I know Barney was walking. There's some hay bales there if people need to sit down, but if everyone can, if we can carpool, that will minimise the amount of cars travelling and parking that is required. So just get yourself ready for that. But I'll jump on this PA system and give everyone a warning too.
Yep, just. You know how they like to save one every now and again?
Look at that, 4X. We should get one of those on ours if we're family. So who lives here now?
I don't know.
Bar opens at 12 o'clock.
Oh yeah. You also have to open a bit later.
Yeah.
So where are you?
That was Haven. Sorry, walking up to the place.
Well, I've got here today, I've got Kelvin Daniels, who is one of the owners of the property that we're here on today. He'll do this is going to be just a dedication to the original well that was very important to our pioneering families. And then I've got John Daniels here, who is a historian, or one of the historians of our family, a great collector of history, and he'll give us a bit of a talk about the purpose of the well and what it would have been used for and the history around it. So thank you very much, Kelvin and John. Anyone that can't read it is, after travelling from the Darling Downs, the Daniels family set up camp here at the site of the old Fernleys well in March 1886. So I'll pass over to John now to talk about the well.
Yeah, thanks. I grew up just over there in the red roofed house. And when I was growing up, everyone referred to a well called Uncle's Well, which is just down along this gully. It's down I don't know, a few hundred metres down that way. And that's where Uncle, who was Walter, the bachelor brother, who had a massive garden. And then when I was looking through Estelle's book again the other day, I noticed that Samuel also, because he was living up there in that house, and he also was a gardener. So there's quite a history of gardening, and by gardening I mean like fruit trees and vegetables, and there's still used to be evidence, there probably still is, of a number of the plants that they used to grow. There are things like figs growing wild around the place here. There was a pomegranate. There were all sorts of quinces and lemons and dates. And I think all of this goes back to the original gardens and original gardens up here. When I first sort of heard about it, I thought, look, this Walter, he must have been over to the Mediterranean somewhere and seen all of these things growing there and come here. But then when I went back and checked Estelle's book again, he never saw the sea. He was born on the Downs and came up inland, so he never actually left here. So he must have read about these things in books or something, or snitched the seeds off someone else's farm or something. But I didn't really know about this well until the reunion 25 years ago, and then there was all of the talk about it. So Dad brought George over here, my brother, and I down here one day, and he said to show us where the well was. George still had some recollection of where it was from the early days, but it was basically just a bit of a depression, and you can imagine anyone who knows black soil, it just moves around all over the place. And the well had sort of just logs on the walls, and I think one of the stories was that they were just brigalow logs, so they would have just used whatever they could get. There's quite a bit of brigalow just over there. And when the Danielses got here, the well was actually in disrepair. So the first thing that the advance party who came up here had to do was clean the thing out, which means climbing down and digging dirt out. And I guess it's where it really got me thinking on my way up here, and I was talking to some people on Facebook about it. And you sort of think, well, how'd they get the dirt out? And when you're 30 foot down, it wouldn't be much fun. And from what we can see, there wasn't a windmill or anything on this well. It just had a windlass, which is just like a log with a rope around it and a bucket, and that's how they got the water out. And I can't see any evidence of there ever having been anything else on this well, and at some point they moved down there. But when they arrived here, if they wanted a drink of water, well, they were going to have to get it out in the bucket. But if they wanted to water the horses, that's a bit of a bigger matter because they drink a fair bit of water. So someone must have spent a fair amount of time winding this windlass to actually get the water out of the well. It's probably a pity that there isn't something left here of it. George was saying that there was some evidence of where the camp may have been, but there's really really was not really much left of it at all. After they were here, well, my understanding, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but the first house that was built was, or the first permanent house was actually the Bellevue homestead, which is no longer up there, but it's in between where the two houses are now. And from there they went on to build the other houses around the place. But it must have been pretty damn scary, I reckon, arriving at something that looked a bit like this. There's no other permanent water anywhere around here. Yeah, there may be a bit in the Nagoa. There might have been a bit of water in Sandhurst Creek if you were lucky. But they were basically setting up here to try and farm in a pretty dry environment and no history really to work on. I don't know, a couple of the boys had some questions.
If you, with your registration packs, if you didn't get one, they'll be at the registration area, but there's the points of interest tour in that. So if you saw, you would probably, as you're driving along, you would have seen some numbers on the side of the road. That's the opportunity this afternoon to drive around and get a feel for where the original blocks and where the original settlers went in those first few years. So thank you everyone, and thank you John, and thank you Kelvin for that.
Thank you. Because it was, and the only thing that I wondered about was this one was if it only had Thank you.
Well, that's a mystery to me. I know what it's
We've got to pretend. Yeah? And then
Steady.
Now,
Steady.
a steady pull up, just a little pull to raise up the time capsule. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Stop pulling your rope, everyone.
Pull kids back. Back. Steady.
Slowly, everyone. It's not a tug of war.
There it is. So.
There it is, raising time capsule. That was buried 25 years ago.
Well, yeah, that'll do. Thank you.
Alright, good job, kids. Well done. So, anyone that's interested, we're going to break.
How are you, Russell?
Yeah, good.
And put the contents
Good.
over on the veranda. 25 years old.
why did the pipe get out? Why did the cow get out?
You got a big set of multi grips or something?
To be involved in the establishment of the Samuel and Charlotte Daniels Memorial Park. In the middle 90s, when I was a councillor for the Emerald Shire, I was approached by the Daniels families. There was 2 or 3 families that approached me regarding the place and the building of a shed for their 1911 Mogul tractor. The position was put to the Emerald Shire Council to fund the project, which was accepted and fully supported by them. It was one of the easier ones that I found when I was in council to get through. So the Daniels family was very well recognised. I was determined that the project be completed as we needed to honour and remember our forefathers' vision for this district, which has become a solid foundation for Gindie. To all the Daniels descendants present today, you must be very proud and grateful to your forefathers for their vision and pioneering spirit in developing the Gindie district into a productive and stable farming community. Many other families, including my own, have come here from all parts of Australia and the world to make Gindie their home. Congratulations, Daniels family, for honouring your forefathers and for keeping it alive. So my congratulations goes on behalf of us all in our community to you, the Daniels family. Thank you very much.
125 years of hard work and dedication to make this district a highly productive agricultural region set with good old-fashioned family values. It is most significant that many of the land parcels that were settled in 1896 are still owned and operated by descendants of the original Daniels families, and with many expansions throughout this district. These families survived droughts and flooding rains to build a community of sharing and caring by using their individual and shared talents to secure and establish a lifestyle for their descendants. I spent many happy times in Gindie in my youth, sharing the unique lifestyle of family gatherings when the families provided the music, food and entertainment for many dances, Christmas gatherings and other happy events. They also stood together in deep grief where families were welcomed and became part of the Gindie community over the years, and sadly we don't value people today as we did previously. The telephone exchange post office has been replaced by a wall of boxes with no chance to chat to Elsie Campbell. Also, the old goods shed passenger train is gone to be replaced by a coal train, which will also soon disappear. Schools have come and gone, but my memory remains of the school down the lane and being taught by the beautiful Mavis salmon. Not to be all doom and gloom, I also remember the first bitumen was spread over the harsh black soil through Gindie, making for better access to services in Emerald. But can also remember Jean Daniels excitedly phoning Mum when the first car rolled over out in front of their house on that terrible road. Before I get too carried away and wishing Mum was here to share the memories, I'd like to thank the Daniels Committee for the invitation to be here and congratulate everybody on a well day. Thank you.
Well done. Pull it straight down.
Pull it straight down. Thank you. Thank you everyone for coming over. When you want to, feel free to stay around and chat, but where the next lunch is being served or ready to be served over at the school, and then the next official.
That's exactly right.
Member for Flynn, and so thank you very much, Ken, for coming over here today. In addition to that, Ken is actually a family friend and has spent a lot of time with the Daniels family, so we'll speak a bit of his.
A couple of young lads in Gindie, that's Ross and Stephen, joined us, and as you know, when you're a boarder in any school, you become very friendly, and those lasting friendships maintain for the rest of your life. We also had another Daniel who was a teacher, and we used to call him Mr. Daniel. Outside of school we call him Bull Daniel. We weren't going to do that in front of him, but he was Cliff Daniel. And he was a good teacher too. In those days, grammar school teachers they were there for the long haul. They went 12 months to 2 years, so there's a many more years. I've known a lot of Daniels over the years, and of course Ross, Steve, Jeff become very good friends through cricket and also racing. The Daniels have always been involved in racing, horse racing, and I can remember the good days when Emma used to have a race meeting every fortnight, I think it was, and you could set your clock at the Gindie boys with Ron Daniels, Jeff and Steve and her father would be there, and he loved his racing. And with other people from Gindie like Ned Morgan, and of course his grandson, his son-in-law, Peter Finlay. Then he was always there to take him home. After the day, couldn't drive themselves, but they were great days. We had other guys from Gindie, like we were talking about it before, like Norris Edmund, a great character, lovely horses, and had to get home also. Sometimes Norris never got home that night, and he used to share a bed in my house. But those are fantastic days, and days that I'll never forget. One of I was in field in Embrook for a few years, and one of our partners were from Springshaw, and that's Gail and John Nixon, and we had many a fine times together as business partners, and not that we were involved in each other's business, but we were both mobile distributors. And John kept the Gindie and Boston area, the mansion here, all that, and we had fun until every 12 months or so we had an audit by mobile, and Gail was always, we had Drumfield and Boltfield in those days, and Gail would say, oh, here we go, another audit, and John hasn't brought those drums back in, so it's worth $15 a drum, I remember. And how many drums are you short this time, Gail? And she's only about 1,000 to 1,200, I'm sure. But John would say, I know where all they are. You know, Ian Sampson's got 12 in his shed, and the orders would say, but they've got to be in the yard, John. And John said, oh, I can't get all back at once. You know, she's 1,200 drums, she's not drums. But we had a fantastic time, arguing at orders and all that sort of thing. And of course, Gail Nixon, her mother was a Daniels, and so I've known Gail for a long time. And when Gail first wanted to sit for the Bohemian Shire, back in those days, I said to someone, how will Gail go? Will she get the nod? They said, Yes, the bloody not. She said, oh, she got to get a family in the boat for her, and she's in. I was pretty good friends with Bill through racehorses and things like that. Well, he shouldn't be pretty good. But he rang me and he said, hey Ken, he said, you missed my 80th birthday. You know, I was someone else and I couldn't be there. So I said, your 80's all right, yeah. So next time I see Dave Daniels, and Dave used to always come to the Rocky races. I said, I see Billy turned 80-year-old, last week. And Dave said, oh, did he? He said, young Billy. He said, I taught him at Swinshaw. that rocked me a bit. I still remember Dave. We actually went on to live a very good life. You know, I remember going to the to get into the Gindie cricket team, you had to have a name of Daniel. And then you can be wicketkeeper, batsman, bowler, the whole lot. If you're outside like me, you have to be exceptionally good cricketer, which I wasn't. But through the school of college, Ross and Steve welcomed me into the Gindie Cricket Club, and we had some very, very good days playing cricket.
And I guess there'll be lots of occasions in the next few months, Ken, where there'll be testimonials for all the work you've done for the Central Highlands and more than that, for the broader Central Queensland region. And certainly the state of Queensland and all the divisions as well. So ladies and gentlemen, I do think we should thank Gindie. When I was advised by the organiser here of the event to come out today, she said you might just open this event and come up with a short history of Daniels. And I said, well, there's two things that can't happen. How would you ever write a short history of the Daniels for a start? And the second thing was, what I'm actually opening is the Daniels have been open here for 125 years. So I guess it's just the opportunity to celebrate here today. Look, I'm not really sure at an event like this what actually you do talk about. It's just quite an incredible phenomenon. So I was reflecting on the recognition you provided to Samuel and Charlotte Daniels today over at the, I call it the tractor shed. But I guess I was thinking, what the hell ever made those people actually want to move up here 125 years ago? And when I look around this community today, and this is the only thing I can do, you see people doing exactly that same thing, seeing that there's an opportunity somewhere and prepared to go a long, long way to do it. I'm pretty sure that Samuel, when he headed up this way, I'm not sure whether he took the trekking route or the shorter route up by Rockhampton at that stage, but I bet you he didn't know that the Bates family would be up the road doing ag robotics in 2021. I bet you he didn't know that there was going to be the second largest water impoundment just across the road over the Fairburn Dam. And I bet you he didn't know that this was going to be one of the largest coal mining resource regions in the world. And not only that, but it wasn't what he was interested in at all, but it would become an absolute agricultural powerhouse for the state. I see that via London, via Cambodia and to the Central Highlands to Gindie, I think most people get the first couple, but there should be t-shirts that say, where the hell is Gindie? But if you ask the kids from the Gindie State School, they'll tell you very, very proudly, they're mighty proud of that, I know that, but they always make sure it's spelt with an E, always with an E. I just wanted to say, I suppose on behalf of all of the Central Highlands communities that I guess that Megan and I represent, to all of the families here today, and I noticed when you came in you were drafted into sections, those with the, I think with the yellow, you're actually in the official family. I'm in the scrubber group, drafted off, but I guess like the Hayes family, been here a long time, like the Sullivan family, been here a long time, we're always great friends with the Daniels family because generally it was about having a drink, owning a racehorse or talking about crops or agriculture. That was always a topic in our household. Thank you very much to all of you for 125 years. Like those people, they weren't thinking about themselves, they were always thinking about the future. I know this place is in very good hands. Thank you to the Daniels family. May you live for another 125 years. Or last stretch to come up. Thank you.
I think you can, yeah.
Thank you, Trevor.
Go for it.
Kerry, did you want to come in?
Keep going there, better be half inch.
Who would know? Are you guys in the photo too? What is the photo? Direct blood or? I think. Little kids can sit Hello, Greg.
I was sitting in the front with my legs around the sun as if like the sunburn through my jeans.
Give all the yellow group over here, please.
What else is there down now?
How many we got? This everyone or? Model of tractor, it's an international Ulster company, 20 horsepower motor type C. There were 2,441 of them built between 1909 and 1914. And survivors in Australia, with my research, I've tracked down 10. Wow. And I've got details of 9 of them. In 1909, 3 survived from 1909, 3 survived from 1910, and another 3 survived from 1911. This one being the second youngest one. 5 of them are a bit different in this, they're throttle governed. They don't miss all the time like this one. This one only fires when it's tested. 2 of the ones I've researched are like this one, hit and miss. So when there's no load, the fire will just keep turning and it doesn't fire. That means it saves fuel. So even back then they were conscious of saving fuel. The bore was originally 8 3/4 inches in diameter when it was got up here. Yeah, what's going to happen now, Reese is going to talk you through how they prepare it for starting. And have we got your 2 assistants, Reese? Where are they? There he comes. One thing we have been doing, whilst it's been up at Reese down, getting refurbished, is I've been teaching this next generation, Reese's generation, on how to look after it, how to prepare it for running, how to safely run it. because what we don't want to have happen one day is what happened back in 1917 when for lack of lubrication we think the piston seized in the cylinder, and of course those big flywheels just kept them turning over, and they tore the gudgeon pieces, the connecting rod came out and pushed the hole down through the crankcase. And that piece, I'll grab it, we found it. So with the start up, there's no key, so we've got to turn the flywheel over, but before we do that, we've got to make sure that there's enough fuel in the pot. So Jack, you can make sure there's fuel in the pot. Yes, there is. If there wasn't, there's a place to prime it on the side here, the fuel pump, you can prime it there. The next thing we've got to check is, we've got to set up the starting. So we've got to put the choke on. Choke on. Put the advanced retard lever into retard. That makes it a bit safer for starting, so that it fires after it hits top dead centre rather than port before. I'll turn it over. On the original time we started it in 1996, they didn't have that decompression lever. That's why it took four of them to turn it over successfully. It was too hard otherwise. It's a lot easier to start now with decompression. Then we put the throttle into run. And Jack will just pull out the. Yep, that's good. That's good. The most important thing is probably turning the oiler on. It's got a little drip oiler in the centre there. That's probably what failed it the first time. That's a different drip oiler these days to what it had. It's had a different kind, but this one you can actually see the oil dropping down. It's a bit of peace of mind. Check that sorting gear, brakes on. And then we start turning it. We start turning it backwards until it bounces off the compression, and then we'll turn it over forwards. Now Jack will take the choke off, and after a few chuffs, we'll then take the decompression off. And that fires up nicely now and put it into the fans. That's the starting of the tractor.
I need to find a way. Yeah, I do too.
That's got a spark right. Originally they had a guy that tried to fix it. They were sort of
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, Todd and I'll come over.
Yeah, Andy will be Andy. You'll probably hear it for some reason.
Barbecue lighter.
See the barbecue lighter. See, as it's operating, this here rod comes back and forth.
Yep. Grow more with less. Alright, one penny hardly. Yep, sorry, Paul.
Get deep.
Well, I couldn't find yours. You put $5 in.
I'm putting $5.
Okay, that's
There's some more kids.
Come on, Marissa.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Do you have any paper?
You know?
Yeah, you got to give me a hand.
Okay, how about this one?
Keep going.
I'm trying. What is never end? But
going.
adding me.
Keep going.
No.
More. Is that it? Got it? Yeah, hold it there. I'll cover it up here. Back down slowly. Slowly. Keep it coming. That's it. Good, thanks, kids.